Well, Kelly, after being backed up for decades now, it's finally coming.
You tried
The
prunes?
Neptune.
Oh, okay.
The Neptune is finally coming
Not the
to
Uranus.
Brazil.
I'm not helping you on this intro. I'm sorry.
It's it's totally derailed already. But Kelly, the Neptune is finally coming, but it's coming to Brazil. I need to go to Brazil. How can we expense this to the show?
It's research. So either we're going to need to kind of a lion bog panda to, I know somebody's got an LLC that we could maybe kind of get some business expenses to, or maybe we need to kind of stand something up for us. But we definitely need that business expense. I mean, I'm a little worried about going to Brazil though, because I've seen the movie, the Terry Gilliam movie, and it looks like a pretty grim place. So I don't know about that. I didn't see in the movie any Genesis systems. I'm really surprised. There wasn't a lot of Sega stuff going on, but we definitely need to figure it out. Now so we've mentioned Tectoy before a bunch of times in terms of they've been kind of the stalwart in terms of continuing to pump out master systems and all that good stuff due to avoiding a whole kind of tariff deal and all that good stuff. But uh, this Games Care is, I would have thought this would have been a tech brought to you by Tectoy, but no, this is Games Care that's doing it. So there was no way, because I know you've been really kind of tuned into the Sega world of Brazil. I think I might have said something offensive to Brazil, or it's just I think I complained that the site was not in English. Maybe that was it, but I'm sure whatever I said was perfectly fine. I think you thought I offended Brazil, but I think I'm okay. Um, didn't mean to, not intentional. Um, but there's really no way to kind of root out of that country game systems, is there?
No, there's not. You really, so I actually reached out to Tectoy directly to see if I could get a master system from them. Because Tectoy not only still manufactures master systems, but still puts out games for it. So master system has been an ongoing concern for 40 plus years now. The master system's still going. So for anyone who doesn't know, if you haven't watched our previous episodes, what is wrong with you? But if you haven't watched those previous episodes, essentially Tectoy was Sega's Brazilian partner. Sega made a deal with Tectoy, who are based out of Brazil. They're an electronics company to manufacture Sega products directly in Brazil to sell to the market there, which gave them an extreme leg up over Nintendo. Wasn't even close. They've not only did they beat Nintendo, they've beat PlayStation, Xbox, all that good stuff. The reason for that is because there are huge import taxes in Brazil, apparently. So Sega being manufactured locally by Tectoy doesn't have to deal with all that. So it's a fraction of the cost to get a Sega system as it is to get anybody else's system there.
Yeah, and your conversations went nowhere.
Nowhere at all. Um, so I contacted them, explained the whole situation. They're like, "Oh, that's awesome that you want one. You can't have it." It's kind of the so for the same reasons, they're apparently not able to export these systems. So basically, if I wanted to get one of these, and I watched a lot of videos of people, obviously not in Brazil, reviewing some of the newer Master System models, and a couple of them did mention that they had to find people in Brazil to buy it and then send it to them. So basically, that's what we would have to do in this instance. And the Neptune, I have to have this. So we got I anybody watching this who's in Brazil,
Yeah,
hit us up.
I think we kind of gently waved at our any folks from Brazil who watched the show. Now we're getting serious.
Yeah.
Now, now you owe it to us. First of all, as I mentioned before, I have watched Brazil, the movie, multiple times. So, you know, there's that. But if you're watching the show, thank you. And let us know because we gotta definitely hook Mike up and then he'll probably break it because that's what he does. So we may want to get two coming up so I can get one that works. Not that you're manufacturing isn't outstanding in Brazil. I'm sure it's fine, but Mike does stuff. So it it's worth a look. But yeah, so there happens to be, and I haven't gone back and looked at our kind of views by country, but I'm pretty sure there's at least one person from Brazil who is watching, and so on occasion, and so hey, Brazil person, hook us up. Come on, you got to take care of us. Make
Come on,
Mike the
Brazil
priority.
guy.
Yeah, and you need to help us out. We'll make it worth. We'll make it worth your while.
Doesn't sound weird at all.
No, any
So,
any uh, any size hard no T-shirt you want, we're there for you, man.
so in addition to the Master System and continue to manufacture Genesis products as well, this other company in Brazil will now be manufacturing the Neptune. Neptune is actually a system that was canceled that never came out. And basically, it was going to use all of Sega's cartridges, including the 32X cartridges, in one unit, as opposed to needing the add ons and things like that for it.
Yeah, a great looking console. I mean, it got eclipsed by the Saturn. Haha. Mike in particular has kind of covered like some of the significant Sega missteps and challenges between Sega Japan and Sega the United States and things going on. But with the Neptune, it was such a because they had actually started to advertise it, but such an opportunity lost because while I am not quite the 32X fanboy that Mike is, I am still impressed with a lot of the games, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing for them to do, extend the Genesis life with the 32X add-on. It is not aesthetically pleasing how it's accomplished by any
Nope.
stretch of imagination, but it was kind of plug and play. So that part was pretty cool. And the Neptune basically squished all that ugliness down into a really nice looking console, very sleek. Um, and that's been retained. It doesn't, I don't believe it's bearing any Sega specific logoing beyond the Neptune name, but even the N on the kind of the logo for the Neptune seems unique there. But in terms of what the chassis looks like, it looks like the Neptune they were advertising back in the day.
Yeah, the Neptune was one of the many casualties of Sega's civil war between the US and Japan markets, which killed not only the Genesis 32X, but the Saturn, unfortunately, as well. Which, if you are looking to order from AliExpress, they have a lot of modded Saturns that you can use. And honestly, it's a great, great system. But the Neptune was something I always wanted. I'd always intended to get because the downside, the real downside of what they did with Sega and its CD add-on and the 32X add-on is they all required their own separate power, even though they were just attachments onto the Genesis, and the Genesis was the main core system. You now had basically an entire power strip that was taken up by playing Genesis. If you had everything that was in there, it was a little bit unwieldy. So the idea of one system that you could just plug in and play all of your cartridges on was enticing even back then. But it would look excellent in my game room. Please, somebody from Brazil, reach out.
Yeah, and thanks to Lady Decade, who the Decade. I don't know why I keep saying it that way. Lady Decade, sorry. Um, for the video on this, where she kind of covered it, and she provides a nice visual explanation or demonstration of what a fully loaded Genesis with a 32X and the additional CD companion looks like, which becomes basically a stereo component pack.
Yes.
And
It was called it lovingly at the time the Tower of Power.
yeah, and you'd need a spare room to kind of
it was it was not insignificant.
now on a recent show, we demonstrated my fierce dedication and support to RGT 85 when he told me to go out and buy some stuff. I did right away. I'm super happy I did. But he's come up a few times on the show. And you've brought him up, but he's written a book on something related, hasn't he?
He wrote a book on 32X, which is excellent. I own the book. I unfortunately don't have it with me. I should have had it ready as a prop. It's in the library room. But yeah, the 32X book is excellent. I highly recommend it to everyone.
Mike doesn't have a library room, so you know.
Do.
Library room, please.
There's even a sign on the door that says library.
Like, oh boy. Um, no. I had I had thoughts, but I'm gonna sit tight on those thoughts. But library room, please. um,
Kelly's actually seen it. He made fun of the fact that there was a sink in there at one point.
well, okay. Yeah, so see that's why I mean, I guess you have a room full of books, but it has a sink.
It no longer has a sink.
Sure it doesn't. Sure it doesn't. Yeah, we'll need some photographic evidence of that. Why don't you take a picture, send it to me, and then I'll not include it and say you haven't sent it, and we'll just kind of keep going on with that story. Because I like that story the way it stands right now. His library had a sink in it, so that's better that way. But um, yeah. Now in that book, did he talk about the Neptune at all in that, or was that kind of pre?
I think it was mentioned, but it really wasn't no in depth on there. So the book starts with an introduction that just kind of goes over what the 32X was. It was a way to expand the Genesis life and give people more cost effective way to jump into a 32-bit game system, because at that time what was available was 3DO and CDI, both of which ran close to $1,000 in early 90s money. So these were, extremely cost prohibitive systems. And as far as they knew, Saturn was still, a couple of years off. Didn't work out that way.
No. Well, again, Brazil listener. Hopefully, there's
Brazil,
an S
listen.
behind that, but we'll work it out. We'll make it worth your while. Trust us. But I do, and I will, because I'm the most giving host and all those things. Mike's the priority here. I'll make sure he keeps it out of the room with the sink, because you don't want that. We've seen bad things happen with hardware and water at Mike's house. So, but check that out. But yeah, the man deserves a Neptune. Help him out. We'll figure it out. If you have any other crafty ways, folks, to figure it out, go ahead and let us know, and we'll pursue it so that Mike's a happy guy. It would be a wonderful holiday season if we can find a way. Maybe collectively, we as a group can fight for world peace, but before world peace, get Mike a Neptune. So
Right before world peace.
right before Mike,
As
our
soon as I have a
checklist.
Neptune, jump on world peace. But
Mike has his Neptune. Write down. Maybe Mike has a Neptune. Cure cancer. World peace.
still top of the list though, Neptune.
Neptune's got to stay on the top. The oyster dressing for all. Number 4. So we'll do that. Anything else to add to this deeply insightful show, sir?
No, we need to get me a Neptune. And honestly, everybody go look for the 32X book from RGT85. Starts with that great introduction, and then he reviews every game for the 32X,
Cool.
including talking about a couple of games that were in development that never came out. So it's very thorough if you're interested at all in 32X.
And we will include a link to that in our description as well. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.